Hello, my dears. Welcome back to Build Showcase, the episode where we take you through cool ways of killing bugs. Now, this has been recorded fairly in advance, although not nearly as in advance as, say, the cluster grenade overclock video or the overclock tier list, the solo overclock tier list. You don't even know when that's going to come out. But even still, this is still being recorded in advance, about over a week in advance from when it's actually going to come out. Not that actually means anything. And I'm going to try today to take into consideration some suggestions that have been made. Very kind suggestions, by the way. Not that I feel like we get hate, but we do get some criticism, which is very welcome. Also understandable. We're very, very self-aware about the sort of low-effort nature of the content. One thing we try and do is, ideally, is not low passion. We definitely want to make sure that it seems like we care. I know I do. But what I wanted to do was take into consideration some things that someone left in a Reddit comment, because I agreed with them. Possibly utilising a script or notes of some kind. I haven't done that for this one. I was sort of in a rush. Not in a rush, but sort of decided to record this on a bit of a whim. There will be a much more structured video coming up, which shall be interesting. I won't spoil what it's going to be. But the other thing was also really tightening up the gameplay, keeping it very concise to concise examples and whatnot, which I can do, even though I have to record, because of the way that we do things, I have to record this in one sitting. I can still do that. I can still cut in between everything that isn't combat. Like, that's very apt. Very possible, I should say. So definitely want to show off some boss fights. I could even find specific things like Betsy's and Corlocks if I really wanted to. I could do that. I might. But, you know, in terms of actually explaining it, I don't feel too bad. I don't have many notes or any notes, because this is a pretty simple build. It really just revolves around this minigun build. We've used Hellfire before for the lightweight gunner, which is in this slot anyway. This is what it turned into in terms of looks. But I think the Thunderhead hasn't changed since. The coil gun might have done. I think I might have added Electric Trail. Maybe I should briefly explain Hellfire. Hellfire is probably the best, most reliable crowd clearing on any gunner secondary. I do think ultramagnetic coils, as shown. Why are they all Hellfire? Why are they all Hellfire? Where's a UMC? You must be UMC, right? Yeah, this is absolutely broken and overpowered and actually needs to be nerfed, and no one really knows about it, which is awesome. But in general, Hellfire is the most reliable crowd clearing. It will destroy soft enemies. Anything with pretty much anything with less health than a warden is going to go down from this. Electric Trail helps a little bit with that, helps keep them in place, but so does Fear. As in, Electric Trail helps keep them in place after we fear them, because Fear does sort of make enemies spread out. But I like to use Fear just for, makes me feel safe, I guess. And because it's Hellfire, we use reload speed because none of the others benefit from it. We don't need increased direct damage, and we don't want to use segmented shots because they don't actually get Hellfire. And of course we take ammo, obviously, because once again we just need as many Hellfire shots as possible, especially with how it already reduces ammo. So yeah, defense enhancement too, because we're pretty much always going to be charging to full. We are always going to be charging to full. Shockwave would be negligible damage, really. So that's Hellfire, extremely reliable in almost every situation that involves groups of enemies. Obviously there's a lot of enemies that it's not really worth using against. I would say oppressors and most boss enemies, it really should only be used as supplementary damage when they're the only thing you're fighting as well. You don't want to use the coil gun constantly against a boss when there's lots of other enemies around as well. I'd say a Corlock is a type of boss where it'd be quite useful, especially if you can catch multiple spitters, multiple Corlock sprouts in the radius. That's great, although that can't always happen. But either way, yeah, Hellfire, strong recommend for reliable AoE, and that's kind of why we're taking it. We're kind of just trying to look at things that are reliable in most situations. So this is really an all-purpose minigun. All-purpose in terms of all missions. Obviously, it's not a huge crowd clearer. That's why we've got Hellfire. But it completely revolves around this really cool little overclock called a little more oomph, which I think is not actually that overlooked. I don't really hear people talking about it, but this is actually one that Waste and Lazy Maybe did give some credit to, which I agree with. I think it is somewhat overlooked. And it's a small damage boost and faster spin up. The small damage only being +1 can look very mediocre in comparison to exhaust vectoring, especially Lead Storm. I, however, am not a fan of Lead Storm, and I'm actually an exhaust vectoring advocate, but I think a little more oomph is probably the better one out of these two. That faster spin up should not be underestimated. A small increase in damage and a small increase in spin up time just makes the whole thing feel so much more smooth and ergonomic to use. That's really the whole point. This is a minigun that feels absolutely fantastic, pretty much no matter how you build it. I've done some really basic things here, like accuracy in tier 1 is really hard to turn down, so I've still gone for that. Ammo in tier 2 is just my personal choice. I think this is actually a case where both are completely valid. I think, yeah, they are. You can use either one, and I wouldn't judge you either way. I'm actually tempted to use high velocity rounds because of lethal enemies, which might sound strange, but the truth is, this is a very, very shallow build that I'm showing off today. It really just comes down to showing off that this is a good overclock. So this is going to be more of an overclock showcase than anything else. So I'm actually going to take damage for this mission. You'll see why in a moment. Hardened rounds I personally do appreciate a lot because it's good for single target. Obviously not if you're hitting a weak point, but against things like Praetorians and guards, it's going to improve body shot damage a lot, which means you can very much so easier to justify shooting at them from any angle. Stun is not my preferred thing at all. I actually really don't like stun, and the duration is not going to help us. The problem with stun on the minigun is the way it interrupts Praetorian attacks and causes them to turn around. This duration is not going to help with that. We need like 8 seconds pretty much to actually have it be useful, really. Blow through is an absolutely valid pick, a very tempting pick as well. I prefer my minigun to be built for single target 90% of the time, so that's why I'm going for armor breaking. Tier 4 is the most interesting tier in regards to this overclock specifically, because of course it's the only overclock that gives you a faster spin up time. If we were to take it away, our spin up time goes to 0.7, which is not a huge loss or a huge gain in time, as in minus 0.2 is not a huge bonus, but it is noticeable enough. If we were to say not take an overclock and also take this, it goes down to 0.3. So the difference is 0.2 either way. If you took this and a little more oomph, it goes down to 0.1, basically instantaneous. This is a valid way of using the overclock. It really is. Having a basically instant start, like spin up time, is a really valuable thing to have. But because we have a quicker spin up time than the default minigun anyway, that means we can much more easily justify using variable chamber pressure, which increases damage at max stabilization, which allows for a small damage spike, which just aids the ergonomic thing. It's basically it is literally as good as exhaust vectoring, except more ergonomic. Whatever that means, whether that relates to accuracy or just the overall gun feel, it's more ergonomic than exhaust vectoring and essentially results in the same amount of damage. Especially because we don't actually lose accuracy. Exhaust vectoring increases base spread. That could cause us to miss more shots. And tier 5 is hot bullets, obviously, because I just don't need anything else. You know, I'm never in a situation where if aggressive venting is what I need, I would either use my coil gun or a bulldog even, or just use a shield. I don't see the minigun as being useful for clutch situations. That's not how I do it. I feel like if you want to use aggressive venting, you really have to waste a lot of ammo. It's not quite how I play. I'm a little bit more bursty anyway. Hot bullets really comes in when there's a lot of enemies that you want to face down with the minigun, although I wouldn't recommend that. But it's more so for single target DPS. Even though it is fire, it still increases our damage, which is valuable against any single target, even ones that can't be set on fire. So I strongly recommend hot bullets. I don't think it's entirely endemic to this build. I think there's actually a lot of room to play here. That's why I switched to damage from ammo, because I think this is an extremely flexible overclock. You can basically build it however you want, and I intend to show that. Everything else really doesn't matter for this build anyway. I guess there's a fair focus on speed. Born Ready is an interesting pick here. It's mainly because of the other things in this slot. If I were to recommend something specifically for this build, I probably wouldn't know exactly what to say. I guess I would go for Vampire because that's a standard pick for me. But we're sort of just looking for a much smoother experience in general. So Sweet Tooth making Red Sugar more reliable and also giving us bonus movement speed. Resupplier, getting resupplies more quickly, not having to worry about that so much. And obviously Dash being a standard for me pretty much all the time. It all sort of compiles together to be something based sort of just on ease of use. Then we have Recharge Speed on the pickaxe. Tactical Lead Burster because it's universal, obviously universal functionality, and also that not that this build is actually has any kind of weakness to bulk detonators in terms of damage. We've got strong fire and electric damage here, so that's slowed down and also fire lasts a long time. Bulk detonators, we got good, precise DPS that can take out the blisters easily. But the ability to do that, just insta kill them basically with the lead burster, is extremely valuable to me. Shield generator, got a little bit of everything. I probably wouldn't recommend actually using lasting effect. You should probably use supercharged coils, really. In fact, I'm going to switch to that. So we got one of everything, which is basically the smoothest, most on average, nice to use version possible. Barracuda armor rig, not really important once again. I'd say shield delay makes the most sense for this build if we're sort of going for a theme of ease of use, like once again. Same with zipline launcher, although that's how I build it anyway. I'm not interested in full damage. I'm not going to fall off the zipline unless I'm a twat. So I definitely want to move faster, shoot further. Don't really have a choice in tier 2 though. Tier 1 is always going to be angle for me because we can get increased range from tier 2, and I don't want to be limited by angles really. So can I just point out this abysmal mod tree is a perfect example of why a lot of the traversal and utility tools need to have their trees like basically overhauled or removed, basically, either one. Yeah, get on that ghost ship. So the first mission I've chosen is actually a lethal enemies. I wanted double XP because I'm greedy, but it's really about lethal enemies. I want to see how we fare, how lethal we are. But really, I'm just going to show you the combat, so I'll see you down there when things get messy. I hope that based on everything I just said, that this strikes you as a build worth checking out, at least giving this Overclock a chance if you haven't already. I think that is, I think you absolutely should. I think to deny that it's good at all would be kind of foolish, so I think everyone has good reason to at least give it a chance. It's not the kind of Overclock where it doesn't make sense to me for this to be the kind of Overclock where you dismiss it before even trying it. I feel like this is one that you kind of have to try, even if it is just a clean. So either way, I'm going to see you once we get in trouble. Damn it. I accidentally clicked on settings instead of pause. Oh, God. Okay, here we go.
Bacteria tried your eliminated. I'm not scared of you.
This is a void basket. Right, look, it's the domain of the Trijaws. Oh, are they aggro? What's going on? Oh! Closer. Hold on. This is the kind of thing where if they're grouped together properly, I would send this their way, although that only hit 2 of them. It's kind of annoying.
Swarm detected.
Ah, perfect. Swarm. Exactly what we want.
Take care of this.
So, I guess it could be a valid question as to why I'm not using Vampire, only for me, at least. It's the question that I should be asking myself. It has something to do with, if anyone recalls the gunner build that shouldn't work but does, the one where it's somehow the best Hurricane setup. A lot of the point of that was it was so good that I really just didn't need Vampire, even though I consider it often essential just for general survivability. The guard probably would have died. I'm actually not 100% sure if guards just straight up die to Hellfire, but also Hellfire is very much so worth using against Praetorians. That's a valid use of it as well. Sounds like we've got a meteor coming in.
There are multiple meteor fragments headed your way. We'll mark the impact location.
Meteor fragments might play a vital role in an upcoming video. That's not even a joke. Maybe not vital, maybe that's the wrong word, but a surprising role. Surprising to me, certainly.
Not ready. There's we go.
Hostiles are backing down. Finish them.
because the fear trajectory on Hellfire is actually, well, the fear trajectory on the coil gun is bigger even than the Hellfire trail. If depending on how it works, sometimes the fear can actually cause them to run into the trail, which is a benefit, I think. Yes, it is. But I think the swarm's over, which means I should probably... I'll just clear up everything first. Oh yeah, I can also say, I'm actually finding this damage to be even better than when I was taking ammo for this build. Alright, I'll see you back when there's more googlies to kill. Found some. So simple. One of the greatest grunt killers in the game.
I've got a zip line ready here.
Oh, quick note about meteors, small meteors. So basically, I think it's like a 1 in 3 chance to spawn in every mission or something. And also there will always be at least one plague heart, and there's a 2% chance for all the others to contain one as well. Which is why I guess a lot of people have probably gotten at least 2 from a small meteor shower at some point. But it is possible theoretically to get for them to all contain plague hearts. Although chances are that's not going to happen. Obviously. I heard a pressure wave spawn or an ambush. I don't think they're different things. I think pressure wave and ambush are the same thing. I'm wrong.
Got no flares ready.
That's beautiful. Right. Where do you think you're going, son? Hey, brilliant. Got a second plague heart from Small Meteor. How about that? What's going on over there, then, eh? Oh, oh, oh my.
I smell bacon.
Is that all of them? Looks like it. Okay. I mean, I'm not kidding. I was actually about to like do a thing where I unpause and say I think a swarm's about to come, and would have been right, but I didn't do that, so I can't take credit. There's a chance we might need to resupply at some point soon. Well, despite not being big on ammo, given that we don't have any kind of ammo up on the minigun and that our Polygon Overclock actually takes away ammo, pretty economic. It does not feel like something where wasting ammo is happening. That detonator. Time to show you the power of lead burst. That's actually on the weaker side. God. I'm going to try and get to the next room and then call in a resupply. My plan. Keep in mind this is lethal enemies. I haven't used a shield yet, which is cool. Actually, I'm going to though, because it makes it easier for me to justify resupply.
Shield charged.
You snipers. I've actually found web splitters to be one of the best like causes for me using shields. When there's sort of any other amount of enemies around, and I get webbed, often causes me to put down a shield. Found the squad.
Go back.
Hey. Oh, hello.
Shield up. Try top down.
Right, feeling a little bit on edge about my ammo moment.
I ordered a resupply.
See a swarm coming not too far off.
Supplies are on the way.
Got these guys to deal with as well. So
Damn flares could need an upgrade. Shields ready and locked and loaded. Ready to kill some more crates.
but until such a time as that swarm comes, I proceeded to get harshly bullied by web spitters. I must say it was a rude, unexpected turn of events. Also, this is horrific, this cave. Hate this.
You know, I think I've seen some spare pipe rails lying
You don't
around
have to worry
the
about that.
station. Just
Incoming.
There's a swarm incoming. And also, we've got everyone's favourite stationary creature,
charging.
Spitball Infector.
I was born ready. Help me mind this.
Incoming. Smoke him if you got him.
Yeah.
You're a stain on the floor. Feeling much better. Flares ain't ready. Go! Get to work!
The stream of incoming enemies is practically eradicated, and you're still
Well, I suppose that
alive.
was
Well
slightly
done.
dicier than the previous swarms, but still easy on the whole.
Objective has been achieved. Bonus will be transferred to your account on mission completion.
Whoa!
More life in a nutshell.
Okay.
Be gone!
Whatever.
Why?
That. I'm gonna mine some Fating Light, but you don't need to see that.
Why?
Another rude ambush. Stupid.
Flares. Recharging.
Hey. Oh shit. Okay.
Die today.
Whatever. I actually just took out a Brood Nexus, although you didn't see that. I suppose the weakness of this could be considered swarmers, because especially if you're not going to take more ammo on the minigun, you know, tap firing that to kill swarmers when you don't have max ammo, really wasteful. I guess could justify against really
Moscow.
densely
Find it.
packed swarmers, like swarmer groups, to use Hellfire, but not really. It's yeah, it's a bit of a sticking point. Sometimes I don't know whether to disregard swarmers or not. I say they're only a big problem when you have to deal with a swarm of them, or if you're playing on a Swarmageddon mission. In general, you can rely on your pickaxe. If they're a big problem for you, then do use forms.
Jaw dropping.
Or rely on boss code and teammates. I don't think it's like the thing that needs to be covered in every build.
With grunts heading your way.
Oh, Glyphic Grunts is perfect.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah!
Perfect for Hellfire, I should say. Not for the minigun, which is really the star of this.
Grunts engaging. Check him out. We got work to do.
Oh, I didn't want to kill the Hexagon.
No, the players are recharging. Make every bullet count.
Risky.
The last of the wave is approaching you now. Keep it together. Good work. Objective has been achieved. Hold the drop pod when you're ready to leave.
These bugs don't stand a chance against us. Donkey, come here. Be gone!
Very nice. Let's crack open that cargo crate and get the hell out of it. Okay. So it turns out this cave is actually weirdly small. Doesn't go much further. I thought it would, given it's a medium-sized mining expedition. Honestly, feels shorter than a minimum length one. That's no worries. I'm not inherently just going to show the extraction, but there's always combat in extraction, and it's actually going to be the time which I talk about what we learned.
Getting supplies.
Well, I didn't learn it through really practice. I just through sort of realizing that swarmers were a thing. That swarmers are a bit of a weakness. There's not really an ammo efficient way to deal with them, but I don't think there are any other weaknesses, like genuinely. If you're going to a Rockbox mission, you could switch to higher ammo on the minigun, just for that, which is actually perfectly reasonable to do. I think you can really flick between the two. I don't think that represents a lack of, what's the word? Lack of certainty in the build, I guess. I think it's absolutely fair to switch between at least those two things. Honestly, the minigun is actually better at taking out multiple grunts than I thought. I mean, my aim actually feels like it's kind of on point today, which is not like me. But either way, it feels really good at just taking out individual grunts. And that damage is actually really good, especially with how quickly we've been taking out guards. I found very impressive. Mac Terror, not an issue. Great Mac Terror can easily be scared away and killed over time with Hellfire, but take out individual ones easily, even Brundles, because of although that's not really a lesson that we learned from this. Still weren't any Brundles in the mission. But if we were to, they wouldn't be a problem because of armor breaking. Large enemies like Praetorians, no worries. You can use the minigun very effectively in those situations, but also, if you like, use the coil gun to fear them as well. Oh, an oppressor! We haven't done an oppressor yet. Right, come on then, son.
Go Crusher!
Come on. Come on. Do your thing. Okay. Oh, there we go. And he's put his ass in the ground. Okay, this oppressor's actually a genius, turns out. A real genius. Wow.
The mule has Docked. Initiating launch sequence.
I genuinely just got outsmarted by the oppressor.
We are free from the oppressor.
Yeah, the single target damage is honestly even better than I expected. I knew it was good. It's a minigun. Kind of hard for it not to be good, but it's far more like you can really just kill things and move on to the next thing very easily. I don't feel very debilitated by focusing on individual enemies with this, and I think that's really good. So, in terms of, obviously I want to keep this as brief as possible, so in terms of what I want to show off next, it's definitely going to be changing up the enemies we're facing as much as possible. Ideally, an elimination with either rival presence or lift phage outbreak would be perfect, because that gives us a good, that forces us to play against bosses and also different factions of enemies as well. That's exactly what we want to see. Although, you'll only find out if that's possible once I find out, or after I find out. So I'll see you back on the rig. You make. So, would there be any variations that we would need to make for this? Well, I was considering changing the ammo, I guess. I probably should, based on what I said. But I really want to use the higher damage version against Dreadnoughts. Sort of in a bit of an awkward position. I think for the purposes of this and to show the different sort of the two major variations on the build, that being with extra ammo and without, I probably should take this. I don't think there's anything you should change about this necessarily. For this build, keeping like this seems to be very effective. The other way of using Hellfire, I should note, is stun and area of effect. Increasing the trail radius, but obviously we don't have to slow down, so stun is more valuable than fear. Although I do think the fear mod on the coil gun pretty much beats out the stun all the time, because the stun is actually chance based while the fear is not. The fear is also in a 5 meter trajectory effect radius, while stun is only 3 meters. It's actually, oh sorry, it's only 1.5 meters, so it's pretty pathetic actually. But yes, we're going to keep it like this, apart from adding ammo to our minigun. And I will grab a drink, but I'll see you as soon as we run into, assuming it's probably going to be some lift phage enemies first before we take on a dreadnought, but either way, that's the next thing you're going to see. So I'll stop wasting your time and let's get down. I forgot to pause it. Yeah. Although, really I should probably mainly just show you the rock box and the dreadnought stuff. But still, this is nice. Oh, Sting Tail, nice. Could be an issue. We've got a weapon that does stun. It's a non-weak point stun, and we have armor breaking, so perfect for a Sting Tail, really. Okay. Let's have here a breeder, but I wonder, will it be a Rockbox breeder? Chances are, it won't be.
Just take
Oh my goodness, that quick. A quick kill. Oh my goodness. There you go. Breeder. Dead. Okay, we actually have a single Rockbox assist about quick. Anyway, I was just having a thought about Hellfire in a Dreadnought fight. Now, in a vacuum, it's fine because it's just supplementary damage. The trail just a little bit as well. So in a vacuum, it really doesn't matter. Good against Sentinels as well, straight up, because they can obviously be set on fire. But I was thinking in other terms, obviously reload speed makes sense, although that's not actually related to any of Hellfire's actual penalties, so we're going to have a normal reload time if we don't take that. Which means, if you're more interested in having something that actually can do decent damage against certain bigger targets in a vacuum, or maybe just Praetorians because you can use it against those in any situation, then honestly taking Overcharger would be a perfectly valid option, I think. You know, you don't usually need more than one Hellfire shot like in a short amount of time, so really it could be quite easy to justify. Yeah. Also, I'm just gonna get through this stuff and then start the Dreadnought fight, so I don't have to cut anything. Ooh! Closer. Actually, I'll fight both of you. so far, while it's okay, against these normal enemies, I much prefer the extra damage. Alright, Hive Guard, that's good. Good for Hellfire. Also, given that it's Hive Guard first, it means there's a chance of us getting 2 Hive Guards, which would be even better for Hellfire.
Woo! Glad to finally deposit. Felt like I was carrying a dreadnought on my
That's ironic.
Got no flares ready.
Okay. It's also really good for stuff like this. Like, it's actually probably the best for Hive Guard because that's good damage to those things anyway. Obviously, if we had Overcharger, we could probably one-shot them. So, Hellfire actually kind of shines against Hive Guard. Obviously, that's normal coil gun damage against those, but it's good enough, that's the thing. Okay, that's fine. So that doesn't actually change, that's not meaningfully slower, as in, I don't think it would be meaningfully quicker if we had increased damage there. Could be. Could have maybe got it done before it turned around. That would be meaningful, I suppose.
Firecracker! Not ready. There's recharging.
Yeah, okay, it actually can't hit them through its own armor, which I think is wrong, actually. I don't think it should work like that. Hey. Oh dear. Alright, we're good, we're good.
Much better.
Oh, why is that one so much health still?
This is so sticky. Eat it.
What? Okay,
Not Hive Guard eliminated.
that went down a tree, I think.
I think we're actually
So,
doing all right.
I'll see you in the next one. Or the next Contagious Spike, at least. Oh, hold on. Look at this. Oh. I think, yeah, just a detonator. Should be a radioactive one, let's be honest. Everyone agrees with that, right? Either way, I'm going to do a bit of positioning here. Positioning work. Okay, I actually didn't, that wasn't anything. I don't think I hit anything off of the Praetorian. Which is most shame thing. Most full of shame.
Your Swiss cheese.
Brilliant. A single rock box grunt. Oh, it's actually 2. Less me.
I hate rock box. Follow me, box girl.
Okay. Oh my. Whoa! Okay. Sir? Sir. Sir. Excuse me. What? Will you please? Oh, thank you. What the hell?
Another rockpox glyph is
I'm gonna go
down.
this way.
Ready.
This way.
Reloading.
Okay, I might keep the Dreadnought fight over here.
I ordered a resupply.
There is a contagion spike over there, but we're gonna have to ignore that for the time being.
I'm out.
Just go straight for the jugular, which is twins. Oh, normal Dreadnought. Cool.
Take it.
So I guess I could show what it's like using this against normal Dreadnought. See, not much damage at all.
Not ready.
It's arguably not worth it. We have it, so we might as well use it. Oh, I think all of those bullets just hit his leg. Woo! Woo! Oh. Behave normally, please. Jesus Christ.
I can't get away from the rock.
Okay, that was so flummoxing.
Whack-a-mole.
Okay, that's good.
No survivors.
That was a good Blaze Burster as well.
Bam.
That was a bit of a sideways shot. I don't know how I feel about that. Become the larvae for some reason.
Flares not ready yet.
I haven't gone down yet though, and haven't needed to use a shield, so that says something. I did just jam the coil gun, which is a little bit embarrassing.
Die!
Yeah, see, what is that? It's like falling backwards up thin air. What? Stop that. Okay, good.
The bigger they are, the harder they
Alright,
fall.
I'll see you at the contagion spike, I think.
Better.
Alright, this is just going to be some good funnel action. It's the only reason why I'm showing this.
Covering fire!
Hey.
Bam! Not sure if you were truly alive, but now you're most certainly dead.
Okay, this is something that I want to talk about. This fucking... Oh, first of all, get out of here. This fucking breeder, man. Breeder hanging around contagion spike, mind you. And it's not a rockpop spike. Also, why didn't we get rockpop spitball infectors? I don't know. The only thing that's missing. Stationary enemy for the rockpop. That's it.
Hard launched. Cleansing equipment is en route.
They've got 2 flyers, 1 spawner, 1 boss, tank, spitter, run, and
Cleansing
swarmer.
pod has arrived.
Look at everything.
Exposure to a minimum.
Also, what's this?
Growing extra limbs or something.
Grab it!
What's going to carry that? Oh, I'm done foaming. I'm not going to show you me foaming the second one. See, just briefly. But this is my strategy for foaming. Doing these basically. Also, is this just a really small one?
The infection is spreading.
Or are all the blisters hidden somewhere? But either way, what happens is you want as much vacuuming being done at the time as possible. So, a task him to vacuum, he blocks that, I grab it, I grab that one. Holy shit, there's a lot of enemies. Okay, it's going to be lots of rock pops and normal enemies. Oh my god, look at that. And because heat propagation, fire can kill rock pops enemies just fine over time. They group together.
Even the Glyphids don't deserve this.
Okay, it's also the final dreadnoughts in here. I'm probably not going to show it to you if it's High Guard, to be honest. If it's the twins, then yeah. High Guard. Okay, see you later. Well, I found the other contagion spike.
The rock box is contagious.
Yep.
Down
Yep.
cleansing equipment.
You know.
Yeah. Cleansing pod launched and will arrive shortly. Cleansing equipment is on site. Time to stock the rock pucks in its tracks.
Actually enough, I haven't actually encountered a warden yet, so I might as well show you this. Wardens are when you can actually hit a weak point, so just go down and attack the ship, and it's darn satisfying.
Go fetch.
Right, obviously I'm not going to show you the cleaning. Actually, I will show you this part, because this should be much better than last time.
Rock box infection. Vacuuming the foe.
Final contagion spike neutralized. Scanners show no remaining rock bugs in the area. Let's get on with it, team. Job well done. Button on the mule is activated. Time to move on, team.
Die, you plague infested abomination.
And there's nothing left.
Contagious.
So, class, what did we learn today? Basically, a little more oomph and hellfire together. It's just a really flexible build that can handle, I'd say, any threat. We could point out tiny enemies as a weakness, but it's not that they're difficult to take care of, it's just we don't have an economic way to take care of them. Cheap way, something that feels like effective or efficient mainly. Apart from that, we clear through groups of smaller enemies easily, we take out high priority targets easily, we can take out single, like, high HP, high health targets easily as well. Pretty much good in every scenario. It's kind of just a great build. I have nothing like, truly bad to say about it. And it just feels great. It just feels like the whole point is just for it to feel like butter, and it really does.
Go fetch.
Everything just feels so easy with it, which is a great feeling.
Departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
But ignore the fact that I went down, actually, please. Don't comment on that. No. Is that Tridor still alive?
Move it. Jaw dropping. I was born ready. It can't reach that far.
Ooh, gold vein. Can't bother. Alright, well, that looks like it's it. Showed everything I needed to. Explained the build, I think, fairly well. Discovered that there are basically no weaknesses. I would say it probably doesn't excel in literally every situation. Could potentially get worse on a team, but I almost can't see that. Feels very... I don't think it's boring either. We've got Hellfire, which is satisfying. We've got a minigun, which is engaging to use. I think it comes together being a really good all-purpose, but not like OP build. It's not like Neurotoxin where you just wait for everything to die. I mean, Hellfire's that a little bit, but I don't think it's quite that. And honestly, it applies to more scenarios in Neurotoxin because we can hurt robots. So yeah, I think it's a really, really strong recommendation. Obviously, I tried to make this as tight as possible. It still ended up being over 15 minutes long, so apologies for that, but I really tried to show as little as I could. I just wanted to show combat and the explanation at the beginning, and yet here we are, another long video. But that is it for this build showcase. Once again, or maybe not once again, I don't often say this, but I'm open to ideas for builds in general. Obviously, I have quite a few set builds to run through still. But in general, the whole series can turn into me just trying to find builds for lots of different overclocks that I don't necessarily have ones for, and things like that. But still open to suggestions. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe. You can click the bell if you want to, if you're interested in more of these, or if you're interested in any and all Deep Rock news, of course. That will be all for today. This has been the Baron Barrel, and I'll see you next time. Take care.